Hello and welcome to another Super Rugby 2018 preview. Today we're having a look at the Bulls from South Africa. Once again, apologies, no Bulls gear. I am paying a slight bit of tribute with my Springboks hat. But yeah, the Bulls, a team that reminds me of the Blues. Why do I say that? Because we both used to be good and we haven't been good for a while. The Bulls, where are they at now? So not very good last season. New coach in John Mitchell, so former Western Force, All Blacks, USA Eagles, Lions, Super Rugby coach. He's been with the Bulls for a while now. Took over partway through the Currie Cup as well. So yeah, we'll see how he's going to go and with what squad he's got to play with. Players who've left from last year's disappointing season. So Jacques Potgieter is gone. He's on a sabbatical and apparently not returning. Pete Van Zyl, the flyer scrum half, he's gone. I think they'll miss his darting little runs. I think he was a bit of a danger man from time to time. Jan Serfontein, massive loss. Massive. I guess his days were kind of numbered in just that he's the kind of player that European clubs would be chasing hard, and he's eventually gone. He's one of the most talented players to come out of South Africa in a long time, and yeah, it's a pity to see him gone to the Bulls. Tien Schulman is also gone. A few of the fringe players have gone, and the other main one is more of a non-selection than a player leaving, but that's Rudy Page. John Mitchell said he doesn't want him for the coming season. So who does he want? Front rankers: Visagie, Strauss, Maratule, Schulman, Inyekani, Gqoboka, Van Vuren, Van Wyk and Basson. So a couple of new guys in Van Vuren and Van Wyk and Basson. Generally a pretty young feel for the positions we're looking at. Obviously Strauss is very, very experienced player, but for a bunch of props and hookers, Visagie's probably going to be taking over the number one spot as hooker from Strauss either this season or next. I don't know how long Strauss is contracted for, but he's only 25, so yeah, a lot of young guns there. We'll see how they develop. I felt their scrum was a little bit soft last year. I don't think they got pushed off their own ball, but they weren't really effective at putting pressure on other teams, at least from what I've seen of the Bulls last year. So front rankers tend to develop a bit slower than some of the other positions, so it'll be interesting to see how these guys go, having had a full season of Super Rugby last year, most of them. And it's interesting to see how the young guys come on as well. Second row and loose forward, so Jenkins, Van Heerden, Snyman, Lou Diaka, Fortune, Steenkamp, Liebenberg, Kirsten, Nick Diaka, who is co-captain, Agaba, Smit, and Stassen. So lock is a position that you look at with the Bulls and go pretty much sorted. So Jenkins is pretty young, and he was a machine last year. Scored tries, tackled, took line-up ball, just full package player. Van Heerden's supposed to be one of the up-and-coming young players. He's people saying good things about him, so we'll see if he kind of can meet his projected potential. Snyman was good in the games that he played. I think, was he the one who got a red card? I can't remember. Lou Diaka, he's one of the best locks in world rugby, so the Bulls are very lucky to have him. Spoiled for choice at lock, really. This guy Fortune, I think he's one of the new caps. He's going to be lucky to get a game. In the loose, so Steenkamp, he's the guy who's just going to make gear tackles all day long. Liebenberg, Kirsten, yep, good. Nick Diaka, he's I think, given the captaincy, John Mitchell's showing that he wants to see something from him this season. Agaba, if he's from the sevens team, I'm assuming he's quick. To be honest, I don't know much about him. Smit and Stassen, I believe, are new. Oh no, not Smit, but he didn't play last season, and same with Stassen. So not new, but didn't really play. That'd be why we didn't see much of them. In the backs, here's a few new names. So Warner, Van Zyl, and Papier. Van Zyl, again, is not Pete, who's gone. It's Ivan, who's one of these new young and fast halfbacks that John Mitchell is so excited about. So he has said part of the reason he didn't choose Page is because he likes a quick number 9. So he's got a bunch of young, unblooded guys to choose from. He singled out Papier as a potentially world-class halfback. So a fair bit of pressure on him, on the young guy. But, I mean, if he's showing faith in him, he's obviously going to give him a chance. So it's always kind of an unknown factor when you choose 3 very inexperienced players. But we'll see how they go. More experienced, though, at 10 with Pollard and Bossoff. So Pollard seems like he's been around for yonks, but he's still pretty young himself. One of the better fly halves in world rugby. And Bossoff is back from overseas. I like watching him when he used to play back for the Lions before he went overseas. So glad to see he's back. I think either one, I think it'll be Pollard, but whichever one gets played, I think will be fine. And Lubbock is a new utility player, so he might end up getting a few minutes off the bench in various positions, or he might just be a wider training squad kind of player. The mid and outside backs, so Odendale, Creel, Kurtzer, Brummer, Jackson, Ismail, Olengo, Gallant, Matthews, Stickling, and Rousseau. The first 2 names that strike me here is just Odendale and Creel. I mean, provided Creel's not going to be playing fullback, if he is playing 13, I'd be excited to see how those guys go together with no Serfontaine this season. I wouldn't mind playing those 2 guys together in the mid. I think that's a pretty good selection right there. Kurtzer and Brummer might end up having to do kind of the same utility thing if they're going to get a game, either play on the wing, or I think Brummer plays a bit of 10, but again, is he going to get a game there? I don't know. See how injuries go. It is often the depth that gets you through the season. Ismail is a big winger. I think he's about 1.90 m, so he's a big boy. Not all that quick, but he's solid. He won't let you down. Olengo, quick. Gallant is... I think did he not play some of the games at the start of last season? Because he's a guy I like watching. I hope he gets a lot of games. I think he's a very good player. Matthews is another one. He is an X-Factor player. If you just look up Bulls highlights from last season, although there weren't that many of them, he's going to appear in quite a few of them because he's a little lightning rod player. Stickling, I think, got a few games. And Rousseau, we will have to see because he is a young utility. So that's what he's got to work with. A pretty young squad, a lot of guys who are in their early 20s. But that's not a bad thing if he can kind of develop them into his process and get them playing the way he wants. And obviously there's still a few old hands to kind of steer the young guys on their way. Co-captains is an interesting concept, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Areas where I thought the Bulls were a bit weak last season is just when the other team had the ball, it was all too easy for them to get over the advantage line. They're a bit soft. And conversely, when they had the ball, it was sometimes pretty painful watching them trying to go forward. It just seemed a bit lacking direction or lacking punch, just lacking generally. So kind of the worst of both worlds. You can't go forward and you're going backwards too quickly. So if Mitchell can get a system in place which rectifies that, I think there's potential to go a bit higher. Expectation of the Bulls this year. I mean, better than last year is the minimum. I think you can't be only getting 4 wins like they did last time, although it's a smaller system this year. But still, they need to have a better showing than that. They need to get the crowd back to Loftus. That was pretty painful watching some of those games towards the end of the season when just nobody was there. If they get anywhere near the finals, I think that'll be A+. I can't see them going anywhere in the finals if they got there, but yeah, season to build on. I'm going to go with that. They're still rebuilding. Not their year, but potential. Definitely potential. In terms of their schedule, they have the third hardest strength of schedule when you compare the for and against of all the teams from last year. So the two teams they don't play are the Blues and the Waratahs, which if you were kind of drawing straws for which teams you're going to avoid, you wouldn't have wanted to pick those two, really. You'd want Crusaders or Hurricanes, even Highlanders Chiefs, not the Blues. And the Waratahs have been pretty poor, haven't they? So you'd rather avoid the Brumbies, I guess. I mean, Australian Conference has been weak. You might even want to avoid the Rebels this season, given that they've acquired a fair bit of new talent. So yeah, pretty hard schedule. And man, when you look at their first few games, bye in the first week when the other South African teams are playing, Hurricanes at home, Lions at home. At least you're at home. Chance of winning. Reds away. Okay, that's you'd be looking at that one going, okay, here we go. Reds away. Chiefs away. Crusaders away. Then the Stormers at home before they've got to bye. If they go to Christchurch and get hammered, and they haven't picked up a win at home in the first two games, the crowd might still not be on their way through the turnstiles. Yeah, that's a pretty hard start. So it's a tough job for John in his first year with the Bulls in Super Rugby. Like I said, I'm optimistic where the team can go. I think there's potential there with a few already proven veterans. There's enough there to give them belief that they can go forward. I don't think this year's going to be their year, but if you're a Bulls fan, stick with them. I think if they can keep the core of these guys together, I think things will be looking good going forward. All right, well, that's enough for this one, and we'll have a look at another one in the coming days. I'll catch you guys next time.